ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। 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 ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
You can open your eyes.
मन्नाथ श्री जगन्नाथ मद्गुरु श्री जगद्गुरु मदात्मा सर्वभूतात्मा तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। तस्मै श्री श्री गुरवे नमः। जय गुरुदेव। Last day, the blessed few of us are here. Like many want to join, but blessed are us few who are here. Can we keep our camera on? So it'll be interesting to see all the faces. Nice. So see, today also I've changed. So any significance? From day one, it's becoming shorter and shorter and shorter, and the colors are also changing. Any significance, anybody? Anybody thinks what is the significance? Surprisingly, the lotus also changed today. I didn't plan it. This divine intervention. The whole thing is so divine. It happened to be a white lotus today. I had got 3 lotuses. Every day, first 2 days when I opened it, it was pink. Today when I opened it, it is white in color. And I did not order a white one. So, goes to show how much the divinity is with us, making this happen. Any guesses? Why? What? The significance of the colors and the size of the Radha and Krishna changing? Again, it's a coincidence, but it has a nice metaphor that we can think of. Anybody?
On the outer cover, I could see one lotus, white color lotus.
Yeah, here we have white color. Yesterday it was pink. The day before also it was pink in color. Today it just became white. I didn't order white. As I told you, I ordered pink only. But somehow it is white in color. And then the Radha Krishna is also white today. Yesterday it was a bronze statue. The day before yesterday it was a nice colorful idol, porcelain idol. So any significance? What was yesterday's topic? What was the day before? What is today?
I think the distance is becoming narrower.
The distance is becoming narrower, very beautiful, and
I would say they are
And it's
merging.
pure love, purity.
pure love. Very nice. Yes, Charu.
I was also saying that they are merging, becoming one. So it is
White.
white
Yes.
and getting shorter also.
Yeah. Huh. So yeah, that is what I was thinking. The first day it was colorful because it was Madhurya Bhava, right? It was all about love, joy, enthusiasm. So they were colorful, they were dancing. It was like, and if you see also the two had some distance between the two. Maybe I should put all the three together and show it to you. Yesterday it was little shorter, it was more solidified because it's bronze, it was more solidified, it was more closer, longing. It was full of solidification. And today it is so light and small, it's merged. There is like no gap, it is like so attached, just become one, white. And the lotus also, as Gurudev listens to, I mean, of course, he's listening to us all the time, it's become white in color. So beautiful. And the size also has become smaller and smaller. So
Okay, yesterday, when you were getting deeply emotional, the flower on Radha Krishna fell down. We noticed.
wow. I didn't notice that. Nice. And yesterday it was so beautiful. We just closed the session and we went live. And Gurudev
Yeah.
was just coming into the satsang. So he's waited. Okay, I'll finish. They'll come. So it was so beautiful. He was waiting for us. It felt. So hope all of you have the book with you. Please do. If not, definitely get it. Huh? It's very, very beautiful. Like a precious wealth. Not even a gift. It's a wealth. It's a sampatti to have this devotional book with us. That's what I would say. So today is all about union. They were not two ever. Yesterday also we saw, right? Krishna has blisters on his feet, and then he asks Rukmini, "Did Radha drink milk, very hot milk?" I says, "Yeah." So she keeps my feet in her heart. That's why when the hot milk went into it, it burnt Krishna's feet. So much of belongingness is there in between, right? So now today we will see how they both are just one and one, only one. So if you have the book, I want to read a beautiful poem, page 84. So Radha came back into the room with a small bottle green silk pouch and removed a shiny pearl from it. She placed it on Uddhava's palm. "Have you seen anything so beautiful and resplendent?" Radha asked Uddhava, not really looking for an answer. Uddhava looked at the pearl in his hand and said with emotion, "You are the pearls in Krishna's life. And Krishna is the thread that binds us all together," Radha added. Isn't this what Gurudev says in the advanced course every time? Pearls of creation. And every time we all have tears of gratitude during that time, right? When we hear, he says, Sutrena Mani, right? So where he says, pearl has no value if it is just single piece. And also, if pearl doesn't have a hole inside, the thread, which is the divine force, cannot go inside it. So the thread and the pearl both are so important, and they are together make a beautiful garland. Yes, so true, echoed Lalita, and she lovingly held Radha's hand and started singing. As the cool breeze touches my cheeks, I ask, "Why have you come alone? Where are the notes of my beloved's flute? Why has he not called me yet?" Vishaka joined in the next verse. "I see the clouds pass over the moon towards the forest where my beloved stands. My heart aches with impatience. Why has he not called me yet? Is there a time to change my jhumkas? Shall I braid my hair anew? I cannot make up my mind at all. Why has he not called me yet?" Isn't this a longing all of us also have all the time? When is the merger? As night fell and the moon rose, Krishna would come to Nidhivana. Subala said with a faraway look in his eyes, and there below the Tamala tree, He would stand with one foot firmly on the ground and the other crossed over and balanced on his toes. He would gently place his flute in his lips. The wind would be waiting to carry the notes to all the waiting gopis and gopas. Our heart would skip a beat the moment we heard the musical note, and everyone would come running. We would just leave whatever we were doing and run across the forest floor. Nothing in the world would have stopped us. Cheeks flushed with happiness, eyes brimming with love, and hearts racing, we would gather around him in a circle and listen to him play. We were drunk with nectar of his presence. The Gandharvas, Kinnaras would be waiting with their drums and offered the beat for the dance. Krishna would place his flute in his waistband and join us. We would dance and dance in circles long into the night. It was a circle of love without a beginning or end. Krishna would dance with every one of us, and each of us danced only with him. He would be there with every Gopa and Gopi, leading us all. Yashodama would join us too. Age didn't matter. Young and old, men and women, everyone forgot themselves and simply danced in love. Oh, what magical nights they were. All we knew was the touch of Krishna's soft fingers holding our hands, and our feet would flew in the direction he twirled us in. The gentle pressure from his hands as he guided our movement would thrill our being, and waves of beauty would engulf us. All that remained was just that moment in his presence. He was in the center of the circle and in the circumference too. His presence was full and total with everyone. Radha would dance with him in the center. Seeing him dance was mesmerizing. When he moved, our souls moved with him. He would be as if in trance, and when the music receded into silence, our hearts would still be dancing. Can you imagine it, Uddhava? You cannot feel your body, your mind is utterly still, and yet the heart is full and dancing. When silence would dawn, none of us existed. It was only Krishna. It was only bliss. He would ask us to go home saying, it's already late, and reluctantly we would return. It was never enough. It was so fulfilling. This Ras Leela, it's so much spoken about, right? In entire Krishna story of Radha, Ras Leela is such an important aspect of it. And the union of the mind and body. The yoga happens when you are in trance, even in Art of Living, right? When we are in Gurudev's presence, in satsang, doesn't matter what our age is, doesn't matter what gender we are, doesn't matter which part of the world we are from. When Gurudev just sings one line and then we get into a frenzy, we all sing and dance as if it is just going to be there forever, right? That beautiful. And I would like to tell one incident, or it was my first advanced course in ashram, and it was a Tamil advanced course. It was way back in 2010, and we were in VM. I was meditating. As I told you, the first time I met Gurudev, I felt like this is the person I want to be with for the rest of my life. This is not in person. I belong there. I belong to him. I'm part of him. That is how I felt. And after meditation, they played music and we all danced, right? Suddenly, I felt like Gurudev was dancing with every one of us. I don't know how to even explain this. This is exactly what is happening here in this book. This is how I felt. I was like, how come Gurudev was there with every person? He was there with everyone, dancing with everyone. It was so beautiful, so real. I can't explain it. I just didn't want to open my eyes at all. He was with everybody, and then suddenly everybody became him only. There was only Gurudev dancing everywhere, front, back, side. Everywhere was Gurudev and Gurudev. This was my first advanced course experience. And Ras Leela didn't have to happen only in Vrindavan. It is happening every satsang, wherever Gurudev is. It is happening. And in Navaratri satsangs, in last day of, or any big events when there is a satsang and Gurudev also stands and sings, the Ras Leela happens there, right? Where there is no difference between you, your body, mind. It's all merged with that one divine Gurudev, where it is only him and only him. And there is no two, there is only one. So that I'm sure all of you have experienced such things. Do anybody wants to share anything?
Jai Gurudev. I remember you telling the same thing in that advanced course. I was also there.
Oh,
At the end of that, came and told me, I felt like Asha Guruji is dancing with each and everyone. And I was telling everybody, like Ashoka used to tell me. And again, you also narrating the same thing now. So, so very effective. Thank you.
thank you, Ma. Thank you. Yeah, I was like, I couldn't believe because I, until then, was very logical. What is going on? It was such a surprise to me, and what I was seeing was unbelievable to me. It's like, what is going on? I think I told many people. In fact, I took the mic also that day when they were asking for experience sharing. I think I shared that in the mic also, and Gurudev also looked and laughed and went.
No, you told me personally itself.
Also.
As soon as we stopped the dancing, you came. I was nearer you, so you were telling me, and I was telling that experience to everybody after that.
Wow. I'm so glad that there is still somebody who remembers that and talks about it now also.
No, I remember that so much. Oh, such a great experience. How can we say, like once expressed, it can remember. No, that's why Guruji always says, express it. Love cannot be expressed. Once you express it, it just goes and deepens into the mind.
Yes. So beautiful. Yeah. So Radha's life is full of such instances, right? There was no two ever, yet there were two because the world needed the two energies separately. And many such incidents happen. And one more that I would like to tell was okay. So once I remember yesterday I told you Krishna disguised as an Ayurveda doctor and went into Radha's kutir to say that snake bite has happened. She needs to cook for Krishna, all that. After that, Gargi Muni and everybody are talking about Radha, and this is one instance that says, as far as Radha is concerned, even the revered Gargi Muni has said that only a fool sees Radha and Krishna as separate. He says that it is only Radha's shadow that we perceive in her physical form. She is Krishna's Shakti. Even yesterday we saw that, right? When Krishna said, she keeps my feet in her heart, and she says, Rukmini, she is my Shakti. So there is no two. It is like breath and the force behind the breath. Both are always together. Uddhava heard the depth of wisdom in Madhu's words with amazement. Hidden behind the facade of a laddu-eating humorous Gopa was the storehouse of the highest knowledge. It suddenly occurred to him that a Gopa does not just mean a cow herd. Gau also means the root word for knowledge, and Pa stands for Palan or protection. They were the keeper of true knowledge. So, why did yesterday we saw, right? Krishna sent Uddhava to Vrindavan and say, go give them knowledge and come. But they said, we don't need anything because we are full of Krishna. We are full of devotion to Krishna. We don't need any knowledge. Knowledge has no place when there is devotion. Yet, devotees are the highest in knowledge. That's why Gurudev often says, right? For enlightenment to happen, you don't have to be intellectually somebody big. Simple, ordinary person also can get enlightened because their devotion is so pure and clear. There is no judgment. There is no concepts in the head. They're so innocent that it just happens. That's why all the Gopas and Gopis were they were enlightened beings because there were no two other. They had no expectation whatsoever. All they wanted was Krishna to be happy. They never even said, we want Krishna for ourselves. They never even said that Krishna once in a while come and visit us because we long for you. They had intense longing, but never once they said, be it Yashodama or Nanda Baba or any of the Gopa Gopis, and especially Radha. never once demanded Krishna to come and visit them or take care of them in any way. Or are you even thinking of me? I'm thinking of you so much. Are you even thinking of me? None of these questions came into their head because they were so full of him, so full of Krishna that that separation was never felt. They only wanted unconditional love. They wanted only the best of the best to happen to Krishna. That's all. There is another story long back, Akka and Gurudev has also told this, where Krishna had severe headache once, but it's not from the book, I'm just telling you. Severe headache that nobody could do anything. So he told people, just go to Vrindavan and get the dhul, mud of any of the gopas and come, and that will fix my headache. Because that was full of innocence and full of absolute ultimate, there is nothing that they wanted, right? There was full of giving, only giving was there. So that powerful their love for Krishna was. They never judged Krishna. They never asked, why did you go away from Vrindavan? Why did you become so big king and never visit us? Nothing so whatsoever. There is a nice poem. I'm going to read that again. It's about Milan. So Uddhava was now becoming more familiar with the existence of such a state of consciousness, which is so subtle that there is no duality. Now, this is what happens to us when we do our Kriya and lie down, right? There's no duality there. There is only one. Just give me 1 second, sorry.
Jai Gurudev. While the Didi will be back in some time, let's have a small pop quiz if you don't mind. So, can you tell me the two best friends of Radharani or the two sisters of Radharani, which Didi has discussed before?
Lalita and Vishaka.
Correct, Lalita and Vishakha. That's correct. Yeah, Didi is back. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, it's raining very heavily here, so I had to just close something. Okay. So just listen to this with your eyes closed. Do you find what you wanted? No, Krishna, the wanting stopped. What about Brahma Gyan then? I have you. I was always with you, my dearest. Yes, Krishna, I realize this now, and that is everything. Did you share your knowledge with the gopis? No, Krishna. They said they have no room for knowledge. Is that so? Yes, because they were already filled with you. But even you have always loved me, Uddhava. Yes, Krishna. I didn't know that was all I wanted. I was a fool to think that there was something more to be attained. Love can be painful, but life without this love is even more painful. What will you attain with this longing? Being nobody, Krishna, and only you remain. You are shining, my dear. You are the light, my lord. Krishna embraced Uddhava once again with a look of pride. His disciple was now a devotee. It's such a beautiful transition from being a disciple to a devotee. A disciple, many are there. Devotees are rare. And again, as I told, it is a blessing for somebody to even be a devotee. All this bunch of 22 people, odd people, we are sitting here because we are devotees, isn't it? There's nothing, you will need so many things in material world, but when you go to Gurudev, there's nothing you want to ask. What would you want to ask? Even when after a point, he just looks at you, you look at him. There is nothing, there is no words there. Yeah, you can speak about mundane things, you can talk about courses, you can talk about projects, you can talk about somebody that you want to help, blah, 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 blah. But when you want to talk about yourself, there is nothing that you can talk. And there is nothing that you can even ask. Because when he's inside, when he's full, what more can you ask and keep inside? There's no other space for anything else to get there, isn't it? Because when you have the ultimate, how does it matter what else you get or not get? Because the ultimate is there with you. Anything else has to come. It can come if it wants to come. We don't care. We have him, and that is all. So for Uddhava, it took so many years. See, Uddhava met Radha almost towards the end of the Kali Yuga, Dwapar Yuga, when Krishna was about to leave. Almost that is when he met Radha for the first time in his life, though he has heard about her so many times. All his life he was with Krishna, yet he never realized who he was. He knew, he had glimpses of, hey, this is not an ordinary human being. But beyond that, he was wanting to fulfill his intellect, Brahmagyan, more information, more knowledge, more knowledge. He was racing for knowledge. He wanted to be the most knowledgeable person. Yet, he was missing the opportunity of getting the ultimate, which was right there with him all the time from his childhood, so many years. Like this, many of us might lose an opportunity when we go to the master with the want of something. Yeah, we all start with that want. The biggest want now is just be with him, right? That is also a want. Huh? So, if you see all along, the biggest devotees have been the biggest enlightened beings as well. Many, many of them, right? Devotion is much more powerful. And as I told you yesterday, devotion can move rocks. And every Guru Purnima, Gurudev talks about it. He says how, and he's in tears when he says devotees are more powerful than the Guru itself. Because they are so full of love that even God cannot resist that love.
Didi, can I share one experience?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
So in satsang once, somebody had asked Gurudev that during the times of Buddha, 10,000 people got enlightened. And in your time, right now, there are 10,000 teachers. Those were the times when we had 10,000 teachers. So the question was that how many out of them will get enlightened? Gurudev said, teachers का तो पता नहीं, devotees सारे enlightened हो जाएंगे. Even he said that devotion is the highest. So once you are a devotee, you are enlightened. You're there.
And you ask anybody in this group, do you really want to be enlightened? Who cares? We just want to be with Gurudev. He comes 10 times, he comes 100 times. We want to come with him, be with him, go with him. That is all. Nothing more exists to us. So beautiful. Okay. So I told you yesterday, right? Radha visits all of the 8 queens, and Uddhava, Rukmini, Draupadi, all of them sit around Radha and they are all talking. That time Radha tells Uddhava, Radha laughed on hearing Uddhava, come on, my dear, when was the wave ever separate from the ocean? Before it was born, it was the ocean. As a wave, it thrived only in the ocean, and it will recede there too. Only a fool sees them as separate. What's more, just physical marriage does not mean attainment, Uddhava. When this body is left behind, these temporal relationships come to an end. However, the relationship between the soul and the consciousness is eternal and non-dual. Established in that state, nothing touches you. Rukmini overheard Radha's voice and stopped to listen to her words. The other 7 queens waited for her. A few moments later, they entered the room, one by one. Rukmini introduced them all to Radha. Pardon me, Radha, Kalindi said. I couldn't help overhearing what you said to Uddhava. You spoke the language of great rishis. Are you enlightened? Radha did not answer her question. She simply smiled. Uddhava took the liberty to speak. Kalindi, after my visit to Vrindavan, it is very clear to me that only those who do not even care for enlightenment can attain love or devotion. Even the great rishis long to just be devotees and rejoice in Krishna's company. Radha, could you please tell the queen the story of what happened when Maharishi Vedvyasa came to Vrindavan? Often people ask, right? Oh, are you enlightened? Is Gurudev enlightened? When will I get enlightened? But when there is only love, who cares for these, right? You know, there is the story that Gurudev used to tell where there was Narada Muni. He was visiting Bhuloka and he saw one elderly saint who was meditating, Rishi who was meditating. And he says, where are you going, Narada? Narada says, oh, I'm going to Vaikunta. I'm going to meet Mahavishnu. He says, okay, just ask my Lord. I'm always chanting his name, always thinking of him. Ask my Lord, when will I get enlightened? He says, okay, definitely I'll take this message. Then he goes further and there is this young boy who's also a tapasvi and he's meditating and he says, Narada Muni, when you meet Mahavishnu, tell him that I just want some message from him. He says, okay, I'll go ask him and come back. So Narada Muni visits Mahavishnu, prays and comes back. On the way, he first meets the elderly Rishi. And the Rishi is very eager and asking, what happened? What did Mahavishnu say? When am I going to get again enlightened? So the Rishi says, oh, another 3 lifetimes. So the Rishi is very upset. He's like throwing his meditation, all the things and says, I meditated this so long with so much dedication and I have to wait 3 more lifetimes. I don't care. I'm not going to pray to him anymore. I'm not his devotee anymore. And he runs away. I mean, he's just very upset. Then Narada Muni walks further and he sees that young boy. And the boy says, what is the message you have for me? Oh, my dear, Mahavishnu says, you will get enlightened in the number of, there's a tree there, many, many leaves. He says, the number of leaves, these many lives, if you take, you will get enlightened. So this boy is rejoicing in love and he says, oh my God, there are so many trees in this entire planet and my Lord is so compassionate that he's only this one tree he's given me and he says, only these many leaves I have to come back for and I'll get enlightened. My Lord is so compassionate incarnate. I'm so grateful and he jumps with joy. And right then he gets enlightened. So it goes to show that when there is devotion, it doesn't matter. See, Gurudev always says, right, when there is dispassion, everything comes to you. And he often quotes, Kasya sukam na karoti viragaha, Shankaracharya's Bhaju Govintam. Gurudev always quotes this. He says, what joy can dispassion not bring? And that is the dispassion Radha had. That's why she was so powerful. She could attract anybody, though she didn't want to attract anyone. Hasn't this happened in our own lives also? So many times, several times, you don't care for fame. You don't care for anything. You're just joyfully doing your sadhana, your work, because it's your effort. You got to give your 100% to anything you do. And then things just come to you. And even if it comes, it doesn't bother you. But the feverishness before, at least for me, before coming into art of living, very feverish. Oh, people should look at me, people should appreciate me, people should do this, people should do that. And I didn't get those when I wanted it. But when I care not about anything, doesn't matter, it all comes in multifold. So like that, how powerful was Radha. So she was of course enlightened, but it really didn't matter to her. Whatever people wanted to label was their problem. It was not her problem. Okay. So we are almost the end of the book. As I told you, why should this whole story, at least to me, what I feel is why this story should be from Uddhava's standpoint is because only Uddhava needed that knowledge. He had to experience love in the truest and purest form. And that is why this whole book is through Uddhava's eyes. Radha, on her own, if she had to write it, there would be nothing. Just Krishna, 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 Krishna could have been over. There was nothing that she would have even written, right? That's why we needed a Uddhava, so that our intellect could transit from the head to the heart. Only heart, many of us may not even be able to comprehend and experience it. So these 3 days have been so beautiful that even little bit of doubt we had about our devotion, I think it would have all dissolved. Okay. We'll read the last part and then we'll meditate and then maybe little experience sharing we can do. So towards the end, when Krishna was going to leave the planet, he told Uddhava, time has come, Balarama has already left. It's time for me also. So you wait for my message. I think he was in Kashi or something. You wait there, you'll get my message and then proceed. You'll have directions. So 7 days after Krishna's departure, Daruka arrived with the letter for Uddhava. Charioteer. My dearest Uddhava, go to Vrindavan. Radha is waiting for you. Your Krishna. Uddhava looked askance at Dwarka. Krishna's charioteer broke down in front of Uddhava and told him that this was Krishna's last message. Uddhava braced himself and set out immediately to fulfill the task given to him. He rode without stopping. He felt no tiredness, hunger, or thirst. When he did stop for the sake of his horse, he was glad to have nature for company. As he came closer to Vrindavan from a distance, he saw 2 gopis sitting in the shade of a tree. Seeing him, they stood up. He urged his horse to go faster towards them. A few meters closer to where they were, he slowed his pace to walk and dismounted from his horse. It was Lalita and Vishaka. Radha is waiting for you, Lalita said. I thought I would meet Nanda Baba and Yashodama first and then come, Uddhava said. In his mind. However, he thought, Krishna just said Radha is waiting for you and she really is. What should I do? They've all already left Uddhava, Vishaka replied. All of Vrindavan has returned to the abode of our dear Krishna. What work do we have here without him? Only the 2 of us are waiting with Radha because Radha is waiting for you, Lalita added. Uddhava took a moment to digest what the gopis had just told him. Everything was happening too fast for him to comprehend. He simply followed them to Radha's house. Radha was waiting at the entrance, dressed in a clear blue sari, bejeweled with diamonds. She looked like the infinite sky, adorned with dazzling stars. Come, Uddhava, rest for a while. Krishna wanted me to wait for you, Radha said in her soft voice. Uddhava sat down on Radha's porch, leaning against a pillar. Radha sat down opposite him. Her gaze could only be described as benevolent. Uddhava could not find the right words to say that he thought he had to communicate. I know, Uddhava, this is all his plan, his Leela. When the game is over, you return home. After some time, you play again. Even time is only part of the game. He is beyond both time and space. Our prayer is that whenever he plays, we can also play with him. Radha uncovered a yellow silk cloth and took out Krishna's flute. She looked at it with eyes brimming with love. You haven't heard Krishna playing the flute, have you? Let me play it for you. Radha closed her eyes, raised the flute, carefully placed it below her lips and blew gently into it. Her fingers began moving more gracefully than light silk in the wind. And there was magic in the air. Sweet notes filled with the space around her and reached out into the forest too. Very soon, deer, peacocks, cows, along with their calves, monkeys, and several exotic birds circled the house. Uddhava closed his eyes as the enchanting melody filled his being and soon went into deep meditation. In this transcendental state, he saw Radha and Krishna as one. They merged into each other, inseparable. The thought arose, they were never two. The music stopped. Uddhava still sat with the eyes closed. bowing with reverence to Krishna and Radha in his heart. He opened his eyes to face the inevitable. Krishna had wanted Uddhava to perform the proper rituals for Radha. Uddhava felt greatly humbled. Having performed all the ceremonies, Uddhava sat in silence by the Yamuna. Her dark waters were the color of Krishna's skin. He lay down on the grassy floor, and the earth carried the fragrance of Krishna's feet. He gazed up at the rain clouds. They reminded him of Krishna's curls. Krishna was not a memory. He was the life force in everything. Who can see the sun without its lights? Who can taste nectar without its sweetness? Who can dance to a melody in silence? I bow down to her lotus feet. To see needs a seer and the seen. To taste needs two as well. But who can separate the dancer and the dance? I bow down to her inseparable. The sun in the heart is illumined. The nectar of the soul is its nature. The dance of the divine is creation itself. Moving to the pulse of unconditional love, I bow down to her who sets the stage. Jai Gurudev. We are so fortunate that Bhanuma has given us an opportunity to experience devotion in its truest form and make it dawn in each one of our hearts. Again, the flower fell just now. Today I noticed it too. Maybe it wanted me to, Radha wanted me to notice it too, like all of you. So we'll just not speak now. We'll just meditate. After that, we'll speak because we are in such a deep state. Let's meditate. Mithil, over to you.
Let us sit comfortably, easily. आराम से बैठ जाते हैं. शरीर को ढीला छोड़ दें, आंखें बंद कर लें. Let us close our eyes, relax our body. Let's take our attention to the base of the spine. रीढ़ की हड्डी जहां से शुरू होता है वहां अपना ध्यान ले जाते हैं. And honor your own body. अपने ही शरीर को मन ही मन सम्मान करें. आपका शरीर एक अद्भुत देन है जो ईश्वर से मिला हुआ. अब हम लोग ओमकार का ध्वनि करते हैं. ध्वनि करते करते ही उस ध्वनि को पूरे शरीर से सुनते हैं. Let us chant Om 3 times. As we chant, let us feel the sound through our whole body. शरीर को ढीला छोड़ दे। रिलैक्स योर बॉडी एंड रिलैक्स योर माइंड। मन को भी ढीला छोड़ दे। मन जल से भी तरल है, वायु से भी हल्का है। Our mind is subtler than water and subtler than air. And so it spreads like water, like air. The mind spreads across. Let it. ढीला छोड़ दें। सब तरह की श्रम को छोड़ दें। Let go of all your effort. This moment, there's nothing to do and nothing to know either. इस वक्त जानने के लिए कुछ नहीं है, ना करने के लिए कुछ है। Awareness cannot be kindled through efforts. So just let go all your efforts. Neither can love be achieved through effort. Let go of all your efforts. महत्वपूर्ण चीज जो भी है, जैसे प्रेम है, अबोध है, ज्ञान है, ये प्रयत्न से नहीं मिलेगा, श्रम से नहीं संपन्न हो सकता है। श्रम साध्य नहीं है। कैन नॉट बी अचीव थ्रू एफर्ट। जस्ट लेट गो। सभी प्रयत्न छोड़ दे। प्रयत्न छोड़ते ही मन फैलने लगता है चारों ओर। The moment you stop effort, your mind expands and occupies the entire room where you are in. एक और गहरी सांस लीजिए और छोड़े। Take another deep breath in and let go. Incoming breath energizes the body and outgoing breath brings relaxation. And this phenomenon is happening all the time. Relax and let go all your efforts. Whatever thoughts are coming in the mind, just let them come. Embrace them all. Good thoughts, bad thoughts. Let them come. Not to stop anything. जो भी विचार आ रहे हो मन में, आने दीजिए। अच्छे बुरे विचारों को आने दें। हमें कुछ भी नहीं करना है, ना इनको रोकना है ना टोकना है। Not to resist any thought, any feeling, let them all come. You just repose in yourself. Become aware of the vast space. Let go all the concepts. This moment, nothing to do and nothing to know. सभी सिद्धांतों को एक किनारे रखकर अपने आप में विश्राम करें। Relax more and more. Any tension, any discomfort you feel anywhere in the body or in any corner of the mind, just let it be. Embrace the discomfort and allow it to be. Relax and let go. Become aware of the space above your head up to the ceiling of the hall or room you are sitting. सिर के ऊपर जो खाली जगह है वहां अपना मन को रखें. छत तक की दूरी का स्मरण करें. लोका समस्ता सुखिनो भवन्तु. ओम शांति शांति शांति. Breathe in with a smile and breathe out with a smile. Let the smile percolate to the back of your head. Repose in yourself. अपने आप में विश्राम करें. मुस्कान सिर के पीछे भी हो रहा है ऐसा भाव करें। फिर एक गहरी सांस लीजिए और सांस छोड़ते छोड़ते पूरे शरीर से मुस्कुराइएगा। और धीरे धीरे आंखें खोल सकते हैं।
जय गुरुदेव। Every day, let's come back to ourselves and check where is our devotion, what is clouding it. Why so many knots, cobwebs in the head? It will become it's time for hollow and empty. So just go and cleanse and come back. By the way, this coming Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 21, 22, 23, 24, we have Tridhara special advanced course in Tiruvannamalai Ashram. Some of us are going from here, from Chennai. If you are from Chennai and you want to join us, you can join, or anywhere from the world you can come. So beautiful because you experience devotion in the deep silence, hollow and empty, full of yourself and your devotion. No better place than Arunachala, of course, our ashram. And then Arunachala is a beautiful place. You know, if you've never been to Tiruvannamalai, you should. The mountain speaks. The mountain is living. You can just sense, feel that the mountain is alive. It is not just any other mountain in our ashram. Art of Living Ashram is right at the footsteps of the mountain. You wake up to the mountains in the morning and it's so majestic, so divine, so deep calmness is there, so much of love. It feels like it's just pulling you. One time you went to go to Tiruvannamalai, you want to keep coming back again and again. So here is an opportunity to listen to more of the divine stories and experience the bliss of silence in Arunachala. So don't miss the opportunity, and also nice opportunity for us to stay connected 3 more days together, 4 more days. So just come. Many a times mind will give us 101 reasons why not to do something, because mind is always not wanting to push its comfort zone, right? So just find one reason and just come. And from my own life, I can tell you many, many times where, how is it even possible? How can I do this? I will never ask myself. It's Gurudev's work, it's Gurudev's thing, I will do it. Rest will take care of itself. So many life challenges have happened. But one pointed focus on no, my seva, my sadhana, my guru is my focus, and things will just fall in place. Office meetings will get cancelled, leave will automatically get approved, people will be sick at home, but they'll get cured automatically. So many miracles, so many miracles. One pointed focus on, okay, my Gurudev has asked me to do this, I'll do this, that's all. So if you feel like, how will I get leave? Who will take care of the family? What will happen? I'm telling you, give it to him. It is his headache. Your headache is only to go and sit there. His headache is to arrange things around you. So leave it to him and you just come. Anybody wants to share any of your experience, any feedback that we should make better about this session, can unmute and speak, and then we will the rest of the session. Tamilarsi Amma, why don't you start?
Jai Gurudev. Jai Gurudev Shobhaji. This was a really, really wonderful session with you. I'm staying here in Bangalore Ashram nearby Saudamini. So now Gurudev's grace all over. And I hail from a Arya Samaji family. So I was not knowing much about all these stories like Sita. I read so intensely, so lovingly. And now for 10 years, I'm in her bliss. So now my second book of this sort, Radha, I got it directly from Madhurya. And Bhanudi is the, I feel like that ki, my circuit gets complete to Gurudev through Bhanudi only. She's such a loving. When I saw her for the first time, I said ki, Bhanudi, you look like my daughter's age, but I need your blessings. And later I came to know, oh no, she is quite big, elder to my daughter, and she lost. Thank you so much for this session. Now I think I should leave for live. I think live satsang is there, na? Gurudev.
Yes, yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Where
you,
do
Amma. Thanks so much. I live in Chennai.
Oh, yeah, nice. Jai Guru.
Take. Anybody else? We can switch to Gurudev's live satsang.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah, only
Tamilarsi.
one.
Yes,
We
yes.
just like every moment when you were explaining Radha, you brought her to us, and just it was as if we were going inside and moving, waiting for the same when she is waiting for Krishna. All that, as if we are all waiting there itself. I was totally inside that. Inside every moment I went, I mean, we used to tell no dreams. You dream that the story, the same thing. When I thought you were directing us to that place.
So
Okay.
beautiful.
Thank you.
జై గురుదేవ్. శోభా గారు
Jai
కళ్ళకి
Gurudev.
కట్టినట్టు బాగా చెప్పారండి. అది ఇంగ్లీష్ లో ఎలా చెప్పాలో నాకు తెలీదు. కళ్ళకి కట్టినట్టు భానుమా బుక్ లో రాసింది మీరు కళ్ళకి కట్టినట్టు చెప్పారు. సో వీఆర్ ఈగర్, ఆర్డర్ చేశాను బుక్, వీఆర్ ఈగర్ టు గెట్ ఇట్ అండ్ రీడ్ ఇట్. చాలా చాలా
Yeah, you
బాగుంది.
won't be able to put it down at all once you get. Thanks, Andy. Anybody else? Otherwise, Mithil, thanks a ton to you for making this happen. And Divya, she was the source energy behind this. And grateful to Bhanuma and Gurudev and Bharati ji for giving us this opportunity. Eternally grateful to Akka for giving such a beautiful book to all of us, and hope to see many of you having this book and a picture with the book. You can send it in the groups. Jai Gurudev. Mithil, over to you.
Yeah, so Didi, first of all, please don't make us feel like this is Guruji's work. All of us are doing, okay. And second most important thing, then there is a book, there is a novel, and there is something which you live. So when such kind of commentary happens directly coming from Bhanu Didi, you are speaking about it, we are talking about it, discussing about it, then that book doesn't remains a novel, but that is something which takes us closer to the devotion, takes us closer to the divine. And the same thing which I believe almost all of us have experienced in the last 3 days, and like very eager to hear the read the book now and to feel it, to remember the same moment that we felt while we were discussing the same instances. We laughed together, we cried together, we thought of Krishna, we thought of Radharani in these 3 days. And what's the best thing was, like, it all happened during the Janmashtami time, which is like, which is like the our everybody's energies were very Krishnamai during this time. And you made it like, you brought Radha into our life and you made it Radhamay. And as I said, right, you cannot see Krishna without Radha, we Radha Rani. And thank you so much to Bhanu Didi that she has brought Radha into our lives. There were so many stories, there were so many confusions, and there were so many things, as you also mentioned, right? That in scriptures, Radha Rani is not mentioned as such. So anybody who reads Bhagavatam or uh, like the old scriptures, they might not get a clear instance, because it's like a small chunk is available in one book, a small chunk is available in one part of the story. There are a lot of stories which folks from Barsana and Nandgaon tell us about, okay, that how exactly Radharani used to be, how all exactly the Gop and Gopis used to be. But when we have a consolidated book like this, coming from someone who is so enlightened, that who makes us feel that they have lived the moment over there. They were just once among those gopis, and they were seeing all those things happening. When you were like, if you forget about last 2 days, but like today's experience only, when you were like just showing, right? I was literally imagining two ladies, they are sitting and they are waiting for Uddhava. Radharani is dressed in a blue sari and she is waiting for Uddhava, and she is playing the flute. And for the last time, all the cowherd boys and animals, they have gathered around Radharani to hear the flute, because now it's time for her also to leave this realm. This is so amazing, and it is only and only possible through you. And I know I'm speaking too much, but I am full of gratitude right now. The reason for me to be in Art of Living is only and only because of Shobha Didi. I thank you so much. We have heard so many guru stories. We have heard so many stories of like how Guruji has transformed our life. I would say the best thing that has happened to me is Guruji has sent Shobha Didi into my life. And I would request everyone, like, please spread the word about Tiruvannamalai advanced course, so that we can see you over there and we can get to hear and to discuss about this lot more. Thank you so much, Shobha Didi, for these 3 days. Thank you so much, everyone.
Jai Gurudev. Jai
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 Gurudev.
Radha Ramana. Hari Bol.
Uh, I had first trip with to Vrindavan with Bhanuma. Now,
Wow.
now second trip with you. We felt as if we are there only, and with all those characters.
Right.
That's the speciality of Bhanuma's book. She teleports you, transposes you to there. Okay. Jai Gurudev. Bye.
Jai Gurudev.
Gurudev.
Jai.
जय जय राधा रमण हरि बोल, 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 जय जय राधा रमण हरि बोल. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Didi.